Everybody you see there showing you cars and houses and phones and traveling for making money in dollars, listen very carefully to me. Those people paid the price. One of the best ways to monetize your digital skill this year are freelance platforms. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking when they hear about freelance platforms. Fiverr, Upwork, freelancer.com. You're thinking, okay, this is a little bit very saturated. People who are beginning don't really get jobs on it. You're kind of correct. Except that Fiverr and Upwork alone have paid over $12 billion to people who have digital skills over the last couple of years. And so whether you like it or not, whether you're there or not, people are making money. So why don't you try at least to contest to be there, to contest to have a stand, to get a big, at least a piece of the pie. And so there are a lot of people who are starting out in digital services and digital skills, but they don't even attempt it. They are just so discouraged by competition that they don't even try. The purpose of this video is to give you a holistic idea. What I'm going to be talking to you about this in this video is to give you an idea of freelance platforms. What are the most strategic ways to approach them, the do's, the don'ts, and even how much impact it can make on your digital skill experience. So you can choose to watch this video to the end, and you're going to be better informed on how to go about approaching freelance platforms as a way to monetize your skill. Some of you are going to be hearing things you have never heard. Some people think it's enough to get a job on freelance platforms. I'm going to give you a little bit of some gist that would really interest you. So pay attention and make sure you watch this video to the end, because there's a whole lot that you don't understand about freelance platform that I'll be sharing with you. Categorically, there are 3 types of freelance platforms I'll be talking about today. The first one are the generic ones. Those are the ones you can get jobs on, the Fiverr, the Upwork, the freelancer.com. The second one are the specific niched ones. Those are the ones that 99 designs, you only get specific jobs, like for instance, it's for writers, or it's for copywriters, or it's for designers. Those are very specific platforms. And then the last ones are not technically freelance platforms, but they are platforms that you can find, you can have a presence in, that will be very significant in you being able to get jobs from just putting your portfolio on those platforms. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing the 3 categories with you and how you can actually be able to approach them. You're going to also be seeing videos of these things while I'm talking about them, so that you also become familiar with them. Now, some of you are going to be asking yourself, I don't know how to go about this. I genuinely don't know. I'm going to hear you talk about freelance platforms. I'm going to want to do it, but how do I find a video that shows me exactly how to do every single thing step of the way? There's something we call the University of YouTube. There is everything you can find and everything you need right there. So we are going to drop links to specific recommended videos from YouTube that are literally going to show you step by step how to approach every single one of these recommended platforms. And then the pro tips I'm going to be sharing with you are the things that is going to give you more significant advantage. Are you ready? Now let's dive in. Okay, so the first platform we'll be talking about is Upwork. So for me, Upwork is relatively the most favorite. Just right now, they're becoming a whole lot of pro and taking a whole lot of money from people, but the whole idea is this: Upwork is quite beginner friendly. The idea about Upwork is this: people who need these digital jobs, they go to Upwork and they request, they say, this is what I need, this is the level of expertise I need, and I need people to apply. Upwork gives you control. So you are bidding alongside 10, 20 people, sometimes 5, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 for specific projects, and you have control. You can tell the person something that would make the person pick you over picking others. Do you understand? It's in your hands. And so Upwork is quite beginner friendly. Now, in signing up for this platform, you need to make sure you're using your real names, your real identities. They can permanently restrict you. They can permanently block your account. They can suspend your account. Trust me, they can suspend your account with your money inside it. Like, anything you're doing that has to do with freelance platforms, please use your authentic ID name, like the name on your identity card, whether it's your national identity card, driver's license, international passport, whichever. Make sure you use your ideal names, not your nickname, not the one you saw in your dream, your real biological name. Because when you have issues with these platforms, maybe they're holding your money, something goes wrong, the only way you would be able to get your money back is if you actually can verify your identity. So that's one very significant thing. Don't use a name that is not in your biological your birth certificate or your identity card. Okay, now the second thing you need to do with your profile is everything. Your profile is everything. You need to give your profile the best form of packaging. Do you understand? Give your profile the best form of packaging you can afford. From results, I helped this person achieve so result. Most of the videos we're going to be sharing is going to talk a whole lot about that, but I just want to share with you the key points. See, when you're listening to these other videos, you're going to see people are going to talk about plenty things. Just focus on these key things I'm telling you. Make sure you have very clear, good identity verification system for whatever name you're using to join the platform. Make sure you focus a whole lot on your profile. Invest in building a good profile. Whether it's Upwork, Fiverr, or freelancer.com, your profile on this platform, these platforms are big deals. Your profiles are big deals. Okay, make sure you're getting the best of your profile. Now, for Upwork specifically, you have to be very good at writing proposals. Very good. AI has a way of making it way more easier for you, so don't be afraid. We're going to drop a video that's going to help you also in writing proposals. But listen, there is no way you can know that whether or not something is going to work out for you until you try it out. And so I don't want you telling yourself that yes, there are cons to these things, there are disadvantages. I just mentioned you're going to be competing. The biggest problem with freelance platforms are the competition. You're not just competing. I know this sounds scary, but I know Nigerians. I know Nigerians who are earning $5,000 from Upwork. I know people who bought their first car from Upwork. Just forget about all those things. Okay, listen carefully. You're going to be competing with people from around the world: India, Indonesia, the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, everywhere around the world, Russia, everywhere around the world. Whatever the situation is, you have an advantage. If you don't have an advantage, create an advantage. Use your price to create an advantage. Use your willingness to do more than the person wants you to do to create an advantage. Do you understand? Tell the person when you're writing your proposal, I know you only want the copy, but I would love to give you both a copy and a free design, because I really want you to give me this project and I really believe I can serve you with it. Give them an offer within your proposal that literally makes them want to get you signed in. I don't know if this makes sense. So talking about the disadvantages of Upwork, or would I say the demerit and the competitiveness, and the fact that you have to kind of pay for what they call something like credit. So for every single job you apply for or you send a proposal for, you're using like a credit, like an airtime, that kind of credit kind of score. So when you've exhausted your credits, the only way you can apply for more jobs is to actually be able to buy or pay for more of those tokens or those credits. So that's just basically how it works. Like I said, you can do it. Every other person have done it over time. Some people are still doing it. You have to believe in yourself. The biggest advantage is this platforms allows you earning dollars. That's the biggest advantage to those platforms. You're not going to be earning in Naira, you're going to be earning in dollar, you're not going to be earning in Ghanaian cedis or Kenya shillings or wherever you're from. You're going to actually be earning in US dollar, and it gives you an economic advantage. That's the biggest and the most significant merit of freelance platforms. Now I'm going to be talking about Fiverr, the freelancer.com, and you need to listen to when I'm going to be wholly talking about these tips, because that's where the last part where I'm going to be talking about a lot of things that you should or shouldn't do. That's where you're going to really get the most significant thing. Now when we come to Fiverr, when we come to Fiverr.com, the entire game becomes a little bit different. So Fiverr allows people, yes, people can actually request for jobs. People can also check for instance, if I want to give jobs to people, I can drop a request. However, the original model of Fiverr is where the person who wants to give jobs types, I want to give, like you're going to be seeing this example on the screen, so it's going to be easier for you to understand. I need social media marketing, so I'm going to type social media marketing, and then you're going to now see list of what we call gigs. These are people giving me an offer. If I'm somebody looking for social media marketers, these are people giving me an offer. You're going to see some of them giving me options here and there. Okay, I'm going to do this for you at $10. I'm going to do this for you at $100. I'm going to create contents to do this for you at $20. So you're going to see everything there. That's a model of Fiverr. It's more about you being able to craft out the best gig and craft out the most interesting gig. While Upwork has a whole lot to do with writing proposals, Fiverr has a whole lot to do with reviews. So you're going to see under every gig at the number of reviews they get. This is why it's very difficult for beginners to really do a whole lot well on Fiverr, because of the amount of already existing experts and people with experience and people who came to the platform earlier than you. However, there's a secret when it has to do with being a beginner on a platform. Niche down. Niche, don't just niche inside a niche. So there's this particular case study of somebody who does interpretation, and the person doesn't, okay, for instance, now let me say I'm a business consultant, because it's not just for creative. As a business consultant, I can create a gig and say I'm consulting for companies who are interested in bringing their businesses to Nigeria or to Ghana or to Kenya. I can literally say I only consult for people like this. So you can do social media marketing for only hair brands, social media marketing for only e-commerce brand, digital marketing for only tech companies. By niching down, the person who is looking for you would rather go for you who is within their niche than they'll go for other people who are generally just digital marketers. That is the most significant way to distinguish yourself on Fiverr as a beginner. Niche down inside the niche. Do you understand? Niche down, you get. You can also do, I only do hair brands in the UK, hair brands in the US, social media marketing for fashion brands in California. Niche inside the niche. So it allows specific kind of people find you and be able to interact with you, and of course be able to patronize your gigs. Okay, so there's a whole lot that has to do with gigs and then pricing, and we are going to share, like I said, resources on that's going to help you go about all the technicalities. The goal for this entire project monetization model is to help you understand the various ways you can monetize and know how to position yourself. So you see everything I said about Upwork and Fiverr, relatively most of them apply to freelancer.com as well too. Your profile, gigs, being able to be found, and all those other things, they're all the same thing. Some of you have been like, are you sure I'll be able to figure it out? Listen, everything is written in English language, and even if it's not written in English language, you can find the language option by the upside of the website, these websites. Make sure you focus on what can give you an advantage, and make sure you believe in yourself, because you can figure it out. Everybody on Upwork making thousands of dollars every month, they are not bigger than you, they don't have 4 heads, they are not relatively, they don't have anything that you do not have. They may be in a different environment with different economic advantage, but they are not better than you. You need to believe it. There are Nigerians here in Nigeria doing marvelously well on the platforms, and they contended for their place there. They wrote proposals, they created gigs, they fought their way to where they are. Nothing is going to come to you on a platter of gold. Don't expect it. Work. Okay, those of you at the 100K challenge, work. That's the job. Work. I believe in you guys. I'm sure you guys can do it, and of course you should be actually able to do this significantly. Let's talk a little bit more about specialized platforms like 99 Designs. Same thing with all other freelance platforms. You have to sign up with your original name. You have to make sure you have valid identities for most of them, and then you have to be able to ensure that you're a designer on the platform, because if you're not a designer, there's relatively very little that you can actually do on those platforms, especially if it's a design platform. You want to be make sure your design. There's pro blogger. Pro blogger is basically for writers, you understand. There's GitHub. GitHub is majorly for programmers. So you can also do further research on your own and find out freelance websites. Now, the reason why we are only picking this few is because we want to pick brands that have global validity. We cannot pick a new brand where you're going to be defrauded and you will not say you heard the name at Skill to Scale. So we are not going to do that. So we only picked things that we know have international recognitions and validations. Okay, so that's why we are calling all those brand names, and we are asking you to start with these ones that we have verified and we know, and we have people, and we've over time been able to get jobs from these platforms as well. Okay, now let's go to the most important part of this video, which are the pro tips and the most important things you need to know. Especially those of you that are Nigerians, you need to stay on this particular part of the video. Now, there are 5 things I'm going to talk about here that would make a lot of sense to you. The first one, I've talked about it a whole lot. Use your real names. Don't make the mistake of putting your nickname there or your social media username. Your real name should be what you should use to get into any of these platforms. Number 2, you need a dollar account. If you're in Nigeria, it's a very horrible situation. It took me about 4 months to get, we had YouTube monetization some time ago on some of our businesses that we've had, and for me to be able to get my validation codes, like, it's terrible, especially if you're not in Lagos or Abuja. It's relatively very difficult. It's not impossible. It's just a bit very difficult, just a tiny bit very difficult. So I'm going to give you options when it has to do with getting the dollar account, when it has to do with getting your dollar card. So I always advise people, when you come to freelance platforms, get a dollar account, get a dollar card. Somebody will be like, how do I get a dollar account and a dollar card? Now, there are very few options I'm going to recommend now. Please note, disclaimer, I'm not saying these brands are authentic, they are not perfect, they may shut down tomorrow, we are not in control of them. These are brands we have used, and these are brands that we can validate that they work. Okay, so the very first one is Cheaper Cash. So personally, I've used Cheaper Cash for about 2 years now in receiving dollar and also paying my dollar cards on Cheaper Cash. And then there is GPay, GEEPAY. We are going to leave all the links in the descriptions. I'm not sure they are going to be affiliate links, they're just normal links. I'm not sure there's anything in the link. So use the links and download this app, sign up, get a dollar account, get a dollar card. Now, those of you that said, no, I don't like all these online banks and digital banks, I can't trust them, go to UBA. So I personally got a UBA dollar card, and I personally have a UBA dollar account as well too. It was relatively very easy for me to create. I had help from, it was not very, even if you don't really necessarily have help, so I have an account manager and it's easier for me, but just in case you don't, it's still very easy. UBA, some other banks will make it, some other banks will demand you have at least $100 before you have a dollar account. Very ridiculous conditions, but I think UBA allows you to have a dollar account with just about $4 to $10 or $20 or thereabout, or maybe even $50, but I know they are relatively very affordable, more affordable than way other banks. Okay, and so you can get a dollar account, go to the bank and tell them you want to get a dollar account. Some of them are going, most of them are going to ask you for guarantors, so you have to find your aunts or your uncles or people who have already existing current accounts and figure that out. Okay, now I'm not going to dwell so much on that, but that is some very significant thing. It's not enough to get a job. When you finally get a job, you need to be able to get the money back. One thing you should avoid PayPal. Avoid anybody telling you can create a PayPal account in Nigeria and receive money from it. Avoid it. I know it works, but trust me, imagine having $200 stuck in your PayPal account and PayPal permanently disables your account. you don't want to be there. So take it from me, don't use any platform that doesn't accept Nigerians or Ghanaians or Kenyans or South Africans. If any platform doesn't accept your country, don't use them. Don't try to crack the code. Don't go through you. If you have thousands or hundreds of your dollars there and you lose it, it's going to be more painful than using authentic platforms. Okay? And please avoid any platform that doesn't have validation. Research. Do your own research. Check whether they have all their certifications from international bodies. Research on a platform before you take payments through them. Payoneer is also a great one, but I know Payoneer has a lot of restrictions and their elite very harsh. Flutter used to be very great before they disabled their dollar payment system. I'm not sure it's back, but Cheaper Cash is my first recommendation. Cheaper Cash should really contact me. So it's my first recommendation. They are not absolutely great, I would say. They have their hiccups here and there, but they are the best I personally have worked with. So I would recommend them because I've worked with them, even with all their network issues, but they are still the best. Okay, so whatever you're doing on your freelance account, make sure you always talk about results. The easiest way to market is to do with results. If you don't have results, go and create results. I've taught you guys how to create results. Go and create results. Go and do something for somebody you understand, or get some kind of result and talk about it. Your bio should be filled with results. Your proposal should be filled with results. Don't just be ordinary, oh man, begging you, please. No, don't beg. Tell them, I can do this for you, I can deliver this. I also talked to some of you guys about challenging yourself in some of my other videos. Challenge yourself. If other people are doing it, you can do it. You're not any different from them. You have what it takes. Challenge yourself. Don't allow fear tie you down. Okay? So whatever you're doing, please make sure that you diversify your options. Try to use all three freelance platforms. Don't just focus on one, because it never gets to work that way. Make sure you try to use the three of them as possible. Manage your expectations. I advise people, when it has to do with freelance platforms, expect results within 3 to 6 months. That's what I advise. Make sure you are consistent every week within 3 to 6 months, creating gigs, writing proposals. Give yourself, don't expect a result in 24 hours. You're going to be very, very unfair to yourself. That's the best I can say here. You're going to be very unfair to yourself. So make sure you're very intentional about your expectation. Start today and give yourself 3 to 6 months to get your first gig, your first job, and I'm sure you'll be able to achieve that. Consistency, like they say, it's key. In freelance platforms, the door is consistency, not just the key. Consistency is not just the key, it's the door. You have to pay the price of being consistent. You can do it, don't forget. Everybody you see there showing you cars and houses and phones and traveling for making money in dollars, listen very carefully to me. Those people paid the price. It's your turn. Do the work, get it done, make your money, prove to yourself that you're worth it, because you are. I'll see you in the next video, guys.